What's up, world? This is We Need the Fifth. This is your man Mo. Got my man P in the building.
What up?
Got my man Hill on the line.
Yo.
Fellas, NBA, and I know we recently talked about Brooklyn and what's going on in that zoo over there in New York. And just when we thought the hits could stop and we just had hit the end point, the hits keep on coming. Kyrie Irving has been suspended for at least 5 games. They're saying this suspension is because he refused to apologize when confronted a second time by reporters. I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. I'm feeling like this is a narrative or a story, a media narrative that's gotten out of control. And as it keeps on rolling, I'm wondering, how come we're not addressing this distributors of this material? If this material is so offensive that merely suggesting someone read it or look into it would classify you as an anti-Semite or lean you toward that direction, how come we're not talking about the distributors that are actually selling that material and making an actual profit off of that? Because to my knowledge, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, Kyrie Irving is not earning a dime from this material. And I bring this up because I'm an Audible.com member. I'm Amazon Prime member. And one of the things I noticed in my recommendations when I went to Audible.com yesterday, for the first time I've been an Audible member for at least 5 years, at least. For the first time in 5+ years, I got a recommendations for Hebrews to Slaves. The same material that Kyrie Irving is being suspended for and being condemned for even suggestion. Jeff Bezos just hit me with that recommendation when I went to Audible.com. How come we're not crucifying him? How come the NBA is not saying, hey, they're cutting ties with him? How come Nike's not saying we're cutting ties with him? He's making a profit off of anti-symmetry. Am I wrong, fellas? Talk to me.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you're asking for accountability. You're asking for fairness. You know what I mean? You're asking. I think it's more difficult for the NBA to do that. Because at the end of the day, Kyrie's an employee. You know what I mean? Whereas Jeff Bezos at Amazon is like, well, we're on par, if not surpassed you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like a totem pole thing. Like, what are you going to tell us? That being said, you're absolutely right. They should. If people have, not just the NBA, anyone who has a problem with Kyrie posting that, I feel like you should hold the director, the producer, and the distributor of that content even more accountable than you're trying to hold Kyrie. So I completely agree with you. I know this is a podcast we're supposed to debate. I don't think that's debatable. Not to me.
Listen, I think Mo goes out a great point. And the way the response is, I think it is more press driven. You know what I mean? If this is to be the case, the reactions are comparable to Hebrews to slaves to Mein Kampf. If that's the case, then I'm feeling that you should pull it. Just didn't pull it off the shelves, but you can't find it in libraries or Mein Kampf, but you can find this book is being sold. If it's to that nature, why hasn't it been pulled? And why hasn't Amazon and all the other publishings and distributors been held accountable for pushing it? You know what I mean? Because it's still for the open market. So where there's misinformation or disinformation, there lies to me some truth. And that pushes me to inquire more. You know what I mean? I'm here finding out now, like I never enjoyed the vessels of Kanye and Kyrie, and I'm huge fans of them. But it seems like they have some sort of enlightenment which sparked their interest. But I think their ability to, and I'm just going off the course for a quick second, I think their ability to dictate what they have, you know, just found out, it's just some enthusiasm. You know what I mean? It's some of this information they might not have privy to have been in the dark, whether it be true or false. So it depends on their interpretation. But going back to accountability, sure. I don't have this on him as much as I have, like you said, the distributors of them. Someone needs to make a decision whether or not this is not readable material or how insensitive it is, because I glossed over it and I don't get that nefarious feel as it's being compared to. It's not me in agreement with it, but I just don't see that cynical element. I can see where it might, you know, not forget spark of debate. I can see where it can cause some uneasy feelings, but to push it to the point of where it is now,
and
it's a slippery slope, put it that way.
I can respect that, Hill, in the sense that I can respect that, hey, this material could be highly offensive, supremely offensive, right? But I'm uncomfortable with the narrative of Kyrie's, we're questioning his moral stance or moral character, and almost classifying him as a anti-Semite racist. All right, if he's that for just suggesting someone read this, or saying to the world, hey, look what I found, look what I'm checking out. If he's a demon for that, what's the guy, how do we think about the guy that's selling it and making an actual profit off of it? And it's like, I'm really uncomfortable with where this narrative for Kyrie is going. I can agree with people that, hey, he made a mistake. But it's like, if you guys are so offended by his actions, why aren't y'all screaming about Jeff Bezos? I know me personally, I'm uncomfortable with, hey, offensive material that everybody has labeled as anti-Semitic being suggested to me for the first time as an Audible member. Like, where did that come from? And nobody's talking about, hey, Jeff Bezos throwing that stuff in my face and asking me to spend $30 to buy it.
I mean, also it says quite a bit to the dynamic of a demographic being able to speak for a whole, because it's not represented for a total demographic. Because you have some people of Judaic faith that might not resemble those that are representing the entire whole, that it did not affect. And that's my issue. You know what I'm saying? You poll one group, and hats off to ADL, and I'll just say that just like that. But every Jewish person, just like every Muslim person, just like every Christian, do not look alike. And not all affected alike. So the fact that one, absolutely, I don't condone any group being discriminated on. I let that be first and foremost. But listen, as you could say that one historical figure, one historical group in a demographic don't speak for the entire demographic. And I think that's the problem right there. You know, is every Jewish person affected by what Kanye said? Is every Jewish person affected by what Kyrie retweeted, not said? You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, it's a sense of power in place. And the reason why Kyrie is in this situation, because Kyrie did a retweet. It wasn't like he said it, and he's being ostracized. Explain to me why saying that I feel the disrespect of fellow people of one said demographic, how they're being treated, and vowing to take a knee and not being vociferous at the point got him ostracized. Like he can't say anything, can't not say anything, and yet you still come up with the same punishments equation, possibly being out the league. So to me, it's just a power situation. Like you don't have the power, therefore you don't have the voice. Therefore, whether you have truth or not, it's not going to be taken as true. And that's the situation it is for African Americans, for me, because if Kyrie is signifying that he is of Semitic race, you know what I mean, then he has the right to say how he feels depending on that race. You know what I'm saying? There are Arabs that speak out against Arabs. There are Christians speak out against Christians. There are Jews that speak out against Jews. If he feels like there's a voice for the non-spoken for, it's probably how he's feeling. Again, it doesn't have to be an agreement of it, but he just has that feel. So the fact that he and that demographic does not have that power, I think that's what's showing right now. You know what I mean? Because to be fair, you don't have a lot of, when it comes to, say, census groups, you don't have people identifying as Jewish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there's some African Americans, some Asian Americans that would identify as Jews. If that was a group, you have it either white or black, I mean, those natures, and that plays a part here in this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where it's at with that, and it's always going to be with that, because again, that is the basis for what, like it or not, what this country is for. And until that's addressed, I think that's what you have here. I think it's just, to me, it's just placement. You know what I mean? So, and it's just a hard place for people to want to address and bring up. I'm not that guy, but I see it for what it is. And for those speaking out against it or for it, it totally makes sense. You don't have the ability to make decisions because of your economic status. African Americans are $1 trillion spenders. You know what I mean? Not owners, just consumers. So there's no power in voice. So when you go to places, it's like yeah, that person cuts my check. You know what I'm saying? They're not cutting checks. And the main problem that you have with the people of the Kanyes and the Kyries is that with me is you guys' selfishness, because your voice can't be heard because of your decisions that you make at the top. You guys are multi-millionaires. So your money should be put towards bringing up so you can have a voice. You know what I mean? So, and now you're saying like, why is it people behind? Because you don't have that. It's more a me as a more of a as a us putting towards building banks and building. And I love the autonomy that other demographics has, whether it's our Asian American brothers, Judeo brothers, you know, Christian, whatever it is, their communities they decide to build in. And of course, our spend out. You know, so if you don't have that power, this is what can be done. You know, things taken away for not agreeing with, you know, or somewhat shaking up the masses instead of having a dialogue, because there's no dialogue in these situations. You know what I'm saying? Like African Americans should have felt the same way when you have books saying that slavery wasn't slavery, is in indentured servitude. Mm-hmm. Those books just go right by us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's an uproar when it's not an uproar when you see pharaohs and things of that nature being portrayed by Caucasians. You take it, but say like it's a big uproar when the Little Mermaid is black for 2 seconds, and it's just a power issue, and it seems like those dynamics play in the case of both, and if not all, even no matter how much money you have. You know what I mean? And that's where I am with that. I know I went off the rails a little bit, but
no.
I see a whole bunch of dynamics playing and it has so many layers. You know what I mean? I wish Kyrie did it a different way. I wish he had a little bit more information so he'd be able to dictate what he's actually feeling. Because I see him saying, like, the light bulb went off. I had some sort of enlightenment. There's some type of purpose. You know what I mean? Like, having that feeling of ethnocentrism without tearing down another race. And he was unable to dictate that. I found something to be proud of, and it's some truth, but you're this, that, this, and this, instead of, just gathering more information and empowering himself to be able to dictate how he felt. And I think that is my issue with him and Kanye. So it comes off malignant, indignant when he says things, and it's like, oh, well, he's a fool. He's a jerk. It's mean-spirited. It's just, I don't think he has enough information to dictate how he feels. He should be able to say how he feels. He should be saying that I think some truths have been held back, which would empower a people who's been, beat on for over 500-600 years,
Yeah. And just as an aside, I'm tired of the American History Channel giving me hours of Hitler, and then wondering why someone like Kanye start feeling some type of way about Hitler. It's like, if you watch, and I'm a History Channel, Discovery Channel nerd buff. I love watching those channels. Military History Channel, I'm all about it. And for the life of me, I don't know why they give Hitler so much crap. Hitler has a show on the American History Channel at least 5 to 8 hours of the day. At any given time, you'll find something on him. And it's like, that's one of the things I don't understand what we're doing. Our fascination with him, in that sense. You can learn everything from his occult to UFO stuff that he was into to what he planned to do after the war. They have specials on all of it. And it's just like, we give too much time to two heinous figures like Hitler. I feel like media, documentaries, all that stuff, give too much time to these people. And it speaks to conversation we had off air, in the sense that, hey, why are we giving some of these people this attention where they're not professionals or masters in that craft? Like, hey, why are we talking to Donald Trump about how to run a country or how to craft a law, or what laws should be crafted? He is nobody's political savant. We all know that, but he gets airplay. And just like even with Kyrie, like, hey,
he never went to Johns Hopkins.
Even,
you know what I mean?
Even if,
what medical history or medical expertise can Kyrie give me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I admire people who tell me about their personal beliefs, and you don't want to take it. I'm great. I'm fine with people those don't want to take the vaccine. I was great with that. But to give me information, it's brutal. And he's not the only one, but he was one that was outspoken. And it's like, I don't remember any Johns Hopkins. I'm sure you went to Duke, and I think it was for like, what, a year?
Yeah, 1 year, and he didn't graduate.
So I don't want any medical expertise.
Yeah,
they're athletes, like, their personalities, right? I would just prefer you be better, because they're great at their craft. You know what I mean? I don't mean just shut up and play basketball, because your opinion does matter. But I think when you're, giving me medical advice or maybe some financial advice, it might just sound me.
This definitely, I don't want the cheeseburger from the pizza shop type of thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, you understand? Like, if I'm in the pizzeria, I think I'll take a slice. I don't,
Like you guys should be putting the microphone in their face if you want to hear about basketball.
Right.
And you want to, but outside of that, everything else should be taken with a grain of salt at the very best of circumstances, if not outright ignored.
Stole my phrase. That's exactly what I was going to say. Grain of salt. Yeah.
So it's like
I'm feeling you. So you're kind of feeling like his tweet should have been just Kyrie being Kyrie.
Yeah. And it should have been very best of circumstances taken with a grain of salt, like, oh, he's a student still trying to learn something. He's trying to find himself or what have you, and trying to find his way. And he's searching in the dark.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, instead of looking at the person, I believe they looked at the amount of followers he had.
Yeah. And that's where the catch-22 comes in. Yeah. Where, hey, what I'm saying probably can't be a reality, in the sense that, hey, a guy with 3 million followers, he says something, it's going to hold weight with somebody. And that's the problem. Yeah. And I guess that's my issue, is like, why does he hold so much weight outside of the basketball court? Like, what has he proven in his life journey that we've been pretty much a part of since, let's say senior year of high school? Hey, he's been out in the public. There's nothing about his journey since then that would say, all right, this is a man I should take medical advice from. This is a man that I should take scientific advice from. This is a man I should take philosophical advice from. There's nothing in his journey that tells me that. And it's like, what he has shown me is, hey, when he's available on the basketball court, could be a great player. Could be a damn right savant on the basketball court. Outside of that, why should I listen to him about anything else?
I think I couldn't agree more, but that's a reflection on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Say for instance, he has 80 million followers, like we do, and we follow him. You and I will look, and all three of us will look and say, you'll see a tweet and say the earth is flat, and we'll say, you guys are interested in playing basketball this week. We'll brush it off because I think we're adults. Like, you know what I mean? And I think common sense isn't so much common anymore. And I think people just need a thing to latch on. And to be fair, mentally, people are just weak, and people just tend to be sheep and want to follow something that will make them feel good. Like, I think like following these people tend to bring a groundswell, which dangerously results into, further issues. You know what I mean? Like a television personality, a television personality rose through the ranks to me, which I thought, we live here in New York with this person, and I think it was a pretty much joke. And I met the guy plenty of times when I was younger, but I think he really took it as a joke, and he actually became president. It was like, holy shit, I'm here now. You know what I mean? And that's just because of a following. You got a running back that has a chance to be a senator. You know what I mean? Like, and these prerequisites which you would want for decisions to be made, which are healthcare, which are crime, and you want resolute, clear-thinking people. And with the Kyries and the Kanyes and everything of that nature, it's like a lot of us are adults. Most of us, parents, like we're training a next generation to say, like, we should have enough common sense to say, no, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying, like, the earth is flat, or people are shooting laser beams from their eyes, you know what I mean? And some people are eating babies. And I'm like, it sounds like a joke, but these are actual thoughts by people who make laws.
Mm-hmm.
And you get stunned by the amount of followers that'll say, hey, listen, I believe it. You know what I mean? It's like the Natural Enquirer has turned into real life. The sun is real life. Like those things you joke about in the grocery store looking at, like, I was in Las Vegas and I saw a 3-headed monster. You just, like, even as a kid, we turned our head and said, that's a joke. No one actually think about would pick up the Enquirer.
Who would be crazy enough to believe that?
Right.
Yeah.
As a child.
We knew that.
And I feel like we're in the age of, that's no longer common sense anymore. You know what I mean? That's no
that's
longer
more
our reality.
That's common sense, actually. I think the more rational thought is more of the inquirer now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, whereas before, like you were saying, hey, we would see the inquirer be like, who would believe this crap? And
You laugh at
keep
it.
it moving.
As a kid, you laughed at it.
Yeah, but now people are looking at the inquirer and saying, yo, this is hard news right here. You know, and it's like, wow.
Yeah,
How
I think
far have we come?
something has to do with technology. I think, as great as, as ready as information is due to the technology, it really ruins people's critical thinking. You know what I mean? Like, whatever they see has to be true because it's in their phone, unfortunately. And I think a lot of people think like that, but yeah.
And I kind of want to bring it back because I want to start a new narrative with this. And I'm challenging the media out there to start a new narrative. Like I said before, if Kyrie's retweet of this book, of this movie, was so egregious and leans him so far on the wrong path of, hey, being an anti-Semite and all that stuff, what are you guys saying about the man that's selling this and making money off of this? I want to see the same heat, same vitriol, same level of hurt against Jeff Bezos and Amazon and Audible as you have for Kyrie Irving, who's not making a dime off of this movie, not making a dime off of the book. He just retweeted a tweet, right? I want to see this narrative evolve. If this book is such an issue, hey, he had to give $500,000, send out an apology, and because he didn't want to apologize a second time, hey, you guys suspend him. I want the same level of heat coming at Jeff Bezos and Amazon for this, because they're actually making a profit off of anti-symmetry, according to what the media narrative is about what this material is. They've all concluded that, hey, this is anti-Semitic material. Everybody, huh?
Pull it from the shelves. Find Amazon and boycott Amazon to the fullest degree. Have Jeff Bezos be fine. Have him go to the ADL and down to the, do what he has to do.
Because I don't want this to be just about Kyrie. You know what I mean? Because that's what it feels like it's becoming. This is our way to punish Kyrie and get at Kyrie for everything he's done that might have annoyed us or upset us. Especially when you don't have that same level of vitriol and heat coming at Jeff Bezos for actually selling this material. A profit off of this material. So egregious to even suggest this material. What is it to actually sell the damn material?
Profit off of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't want it to be about Kyrie.
Yeah, if it causes so much pain, you might want to go after the guy who's profiting off of his pain. So I completely agree.
And I'm speaking to Rich Eisen, ESPN out there, all y'all.
Jump on.
I got real upset on the mic about Kyrie promoting this material. I want to see y'all on the mic talking about the man that's actually selling it.
I'll do you one better. If it is that egregious, then cancel your Amazon subscription. Then take it off. If it's that way, I'm not saying I'm doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if it's that bad, to the point where you're at Kyrie, then Bezos should be losing a quarter of his net worth then, because they should be getting rid of that app immediately.
Early.
if not, I'll do you one better. If that's the case, then you actually side with Kyrie. I'll put it to that. Then, if you want to, if it's so extreme that what Kyrie has done, and you haven't got rid of your Amazon subscription, then you're just in compliance as much as Kyrie Irving is, because he's making a profit off of it.
Mm.
And I had to stress that because, like I said, I check my audible.com. I go to Audible every day. And the first time in over 5 years, Hebrews the Slave was recommended to me to buy. Okay. And like I said, y'all putting him out there, suspending him. He has to give you $500,000, a couple of apologies, and all that, possibly losing close to 300 million. No, let's say 100 and change between Nike and what you call it, the 500,000. That's a lot of money. And just for suggesting this. And it's like, all right, if this is as serious as that, and I'm all for, hey, let's stand up for all of our brothers and sisters, you know, white, black, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, whatever, when we see injustice. But if we're gonna stand on it, let's stand on it.
Couldn't agree more.
And, you know, so it's like, hey, especially Adam Silver, you want to be upset and terribly disappointed in Kyrie. Hey, be disappointed in Jeff Bezos too. You know, and especially those reporters at ESPN, y'all all had a lot to say about how terrible it was that he was promoting this subject matter. How do we feel about the guy profiting? So I want to hear those stories too. Hey guys, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys think. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're also on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you can find out when the next video is coming out. And you can also email us at weneedthefifth@gmail.com. Fellas, we're gonna stay in Brooklyn, man, just for a little bit longer. I know we've been talking about Brooklyn for a while now. Kevin Durant, I want to talk a little bit about him. Let's go back to his decision to partner up with Kyrie Irving. Do you think at this point, how does this affect his legacy going forward with everything considered? You know, how do we look at Kevin Durant now, after what he's been in Brooklyn for 4 years? This is going on his 4th year, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's officially
the first year of his extension.
Yeah.
So 4 years in, and just to give us a little timeline of recent events. In June, I believe he made a trade demand, asking to be traded from the team. End of the summer, their trade demand went from trade demand to let's meet up, and it's me or the coach and the general manager. You have to get rid of both of them. Both the coach and general manager made it to the beginning of the season. Kevin Durant was there. The team also declined to extend Kyrie Irving the 4-year max contract extension that they could have given him. Kyrie Irving opted in, and now we're in the season. Ben Simmons is finally playing or not playing, depending on who you take the story from, P. And the Nets are still struggling. I think at this point in the year, I think they have 2 wins, two or 3 wins, if I'm not mistaken. What do we think about Kevin Durant, and how, if he's done any damage to his legacy, how can he go about repairing it? Or is there a path to repairing it?
I think everybody agrees, he's an uber talented basketball player. No one's, down his skill level, nothing like that. But we look pre Golden State and we look post Golden State. So it's more of like, I think if his legacy takes a hit, it's more of a lead as a leader, not as a basketball player.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing he could do is what he set out to do when he, came to Brooklyn with Kyrie, is to win a championship. If he doesn't win a championship, it's just going to look at he can't lead the organization to a championship if it's not already made.
Let me ask you guys this, and this is something I know we didn't talk about too much, but just popped up on me. Do you think it would be wise of him to kind of push for a trade of Kyrie? And if he did make a push like that, who would he target as, hey, somebody I want to, like, hey, does he push the organization and say, hey, you know what, trade Kyrie and try to get me Dame back, or try to get me Jimmy Butler, or whoever the case may be?
Whatever he does, he has to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the optics at this point, it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like, although he was killed for going to Golden State for a ready-made team, we still say Kevin Durant has 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he could get whoever he wants. If he doesn't win a championship, it's going to be the same narrative.
Well, for one, Kyrie, you're not going to find his trade value any lower than it is right now. And that's strictly off the court. The funny thing is, I don't think you'll get anything that can match his value if you try to trade him on the court. So he has a special dynamic, which I almost feel like Kyrie is almost untradeable, but you need to trade him as soon as possible if you're Brooklyn. I wouldn't, but at the same time, I don't know how you can keep him. So if that's me speaking with a forked tongue, there you have it. Kevin Durant, if you listen to prior shows that we have done, I've always had a question mark on. You know what I mean? And a lot of the question marks within the last 7 years have been answered for me. I think a lot of his chutzpah for saying has been media driven, for the simple fact that he's been parallel to LeBron James, his career. And on and off the court, they're not comparable. It's just not.
Let me ask you this, Hill. What were some of your questions about Kevin Durant?
Him being possibly 1A to LeBron James, him being a leader, him possibly able to take a team on his own back and, take him to the promised land, that of LeBron James. And all those answers are just no in general. A leader on and off the court, no. Could he do it by himself? No. And I apologize for comparing him to LeBron James. You know what I mean? Skill-wise, he has more attributes that check off the plus box for me than LeBron James, period. But I would take LeBron James. You know what I mean? They both get you the same amount of points, but just in different ways. So what do I care aesthetically if it's that way? But LeBron James plus minus what he does to teams which should not be in the league is outstanding. And what KD has been surrounded around for his entire career. And give or take, it's the results don't match up to what it should be.
And just to play advocate on it, one could argue that, hey, last couple of decades, there hasn't been a team with maybe you give it to Giannis or maybe Dirk to a certain extent, where, hey, there hasn't been a team that win a championship without at least 2 stars. The last couple of decades. I would say last 20 years. Every team that's won has had multiple stars, with the exception of maybe Giannis, maybe Dirk, maybe that Detroit Pistons team with Ben Wallace and them, depending on how you're looking at those players. But so you can argue that, hey, even LeBron needed help to get to a championship level.
Not to the championship game. No, he didn't.
Oh.
Like that those Cleveland Cavalier teams that he were taking.
Yeah, that was first 7 years.
You're saying a second star. Those Cleveland Cavalier teams didn't have second players. They didn't have like Mo Williams was his second best star on one of the teams, and then you don't want me to go there in which who he played with.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. This is the first Mo Williams mentioned on the podcast. I knew this was coming.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not going to mistake any of these guys for Hall of Famers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that is just laid to rest right there with LeBron. How much as I love Kevin Durant, that is just laid to rest between him and LeBron. Forget it. Period.
Cool. All right. I tried, Kev.
No, I think at this point the conversation is Steph and KD. And I think I think he loses that also at this point.
But
what I'm saying, look how it transpired. At one point, like you said, Hill, it was, I don't know, LeBron and KD.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from being possibly the best in your era to now the third.
Maybe
for now. Right.
So depends.
Because I might have Giannis ahead of him right about now.
And that's
as far as his resume, like as far as what he was able to do with the team he had, I might have Giannis ahead of him.
And
just a little bit. I know. Forgive me. I said it.
For the contrarians who say that he saved, and it's just so many, and I hate this because it's going to take away from Kevin Durant's legacy from me. But this is why we're here, to have these discussions. You know what I mean? And I think to have the goal to make these claims. So I say, hey, let's have at it. He went to Golden State, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he went to the Knicks. It wasn't like he went to Brooklyn. You know, he had other teams he could have chose. And he chose Golden State to me for a reason, because you would expedite that process of you validating yourself as a great player, because everyone feels that a great player should have hardware.
Mm-hmm.
To me, at the point, I was happy because I liked the way Golden State played basketball. Nice chugging, but to me, I said, why Golden State? Why? Is it just for my reason, just to expedite that, just to do that? He doesn't do that, and he goes somewhere else. And because of his great talent, I thought that if he went to another team at the time that had another star, it should be able to shift the pendulum. You know what I'm saying? Like if he decided to go to Houston and team up with Prime Harden during that time, that should have been enough. But you love the way that Golden State played basketball. They were just off of a finals. You thought you could be that extra added punch. And it was. And I think it kind of was able to change history in his favor to somewhat, but not to guys like us. You know what I mean? We saw it for what it was. And we were happy that he got the chip. So now we're able to say, continue to go on. The steps that he did after Golden State was the Kevin Durant prior to it. You know what I mean? The light bulb clicked in and said, I need to win those championships prior. So like P said, it's always going to be, that's the line of demarcation, post Golden State and pre-Golden State. And that's where I judge Kevin Durant's career. You know what I mean? So heck of a talent in OKC and heck of a talent in Brooklyn. You cannot defy who this guy is. But for some odd reason, he comes up short with substantial talent around him. And something has to be said for that.
Yeah.
He played with more than most.
He's always had talent.
I think
substantial talent.
This Brooklyn team might be the worst team he's ever been on.
Right.
And this is a fairly decent talented team. You play in Oklahoma City. You play with two other, not at the time, but eventually you play with two other MVPs. Not all stars. You played with two other MVPs. Went to Golden State. You played with another MVP. You know, the James Harden thing last year was off and on. So every team you went to, you played with an MVP. If you know, if not, you had Kyrie Irving. So he's a guy could never say, oh, he didn't have enough around. That's just not going to fly. No way. No way.
So
I think that's.
How are you going to judge him then? Well, how are you going to judge him? Because we know how great of a talent he is. But look at the steps that were taken to where we are now. Because even after, I guess we'll touch on what he said with Kyrie, like he wishes that the organization didn't touch on that, then we could just play basketball. But the place where he was just able to play basketball, and they still continue to just play basketball, minus the Jordan Poole situation,
right?
It's Golden State. You know what I mean? If just by definition of what you say, you should have never left. But with anything else, it's more than that. It's ego.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't put that down to just play basketball. So to me, it's not all about basketball. It's not.
Yeah.
And that's what you clamor for, and you hide behind that.
Yeah, if there was
and that's my problem.
If it was purely basketball, you would say they're going to stay. Like you said earlier, you love the way that they play, you love the offense, you love the culture. Well, then you would have stayed. But no, like you said, and everyone has an ego, and that's why he might be one of the most talented NBA players of all time. You had to go that you can't win without them, and now you go into the I'm gonna show you mode. You haven't showed anybody anything.
Yeah. Instead, they end up showing you.
Right.
All along.
Now it's I told you he couldn't win without Golden State. He would have never won a chip without Golden State.
Yep.
Are they wrong?
No,
Time will tell. But
insert French small forward here. You know what I mean? Insert Harrison Barnes. Insert Kevin Durant. Insert Wiggins.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So.
And doing it with Clay at half his powers, Draymond Green toward the other side of his peak.
Halfway
and the only thing that remains constant is, hey, Steph is still doing Steph thing.
Yeah.
You know, and if anything, I think Kevin Durant's move has cemented Steph Curry's legacy as far as his impact on winning and being championship level MVP and stuff like that. So
I don't have to shoulder the load. You can go out there and drop 31. You love playing basketball, and then I have this death merchant over here from 3 at any moment could just we're up 13 because of you, Kevin, going crazy, and then I can just explode the lead to 30, which is going on a barrage of straight threes. It was fun, and I'll say I'm not the best player on the team. I think Kev is solely by height. I think I might as much talent as Kev. I'm just shorter, so I give the edge to Kev. But I ain't got no problem saying that. We're winning chips out here. We're crushing, sure. And even to last year, he says, I love the new talent and everything of that nature, but if you want me to be frank, I got a chance to get him back here. Yeah, get Kev back here.
Yeah.
And that's someone who it is all about basketball.
All about basketball. You know, that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like.
I mean, and I know hindsight is 2020. I don't want to go too far off, but you look at LeVert, you look at Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, they might have been better off.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and again, hindsight is 2020. You got a chance to get Kevin Durant, you do it. I get it. But you know, they had if you remember, they had a pretty good team, a pretty good talent before KD and Kyrie, you know, were there.
A playoff team.
Yeah.
A playoff team.
Yeah.
But
a young playoff team at that.
But you're not counting the 7 first-round draft picks. Like, that's just a talent. You're not saying like the 7 first-round draft picks. None of that stuff, right? That plays a part as well. That's all right. That's the talent for now. That's the talent for now that you helped develop. You saw Karras come along. You saw Spencer coming along. Your talent, your talent scouting and preparation is on point. You're developing talent there in Brooklyn, which is good. But you mortgage your future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I know I brought it up, but I want to be fair. You mortgage your future because you thought you was going to win a chip. I mean, pretty much everyone had Brooklyn, LA, whether it be the Lakers or the Clippers. That was pretty much what Kyrie Durant's at Brooklyn now. Okay, which LA team are they going to go against in the finals? So,
Fellas, is it time for Brooklyn that is as an organization to consider blowing it all up, possibly trading both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? Pretty much what they did when it was time to move on from Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, where, hey, blow it all up, see what you can get out there, get as much as you can get, and just keep it moving.
Kevin's on the other side of 30, but Kevin looks like he is in prime form. I don't know if you guys saw him.
Yeah.
He went crazy.
Yeah, again.
Calfon is still like wiping his face off the ground off of that crossover from Kevin Durant. Kyrie is still young, bro. It seems like he's been in the league forever, but he's still young.
Yeah.
Still in his prime. I would get the 7. You're not going to get any talent close to anything comparable to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Yeah. I would go get 7 first-round draft picks for both of them. Sure. I'm going to take an economic hit because probably no one's going to see us. But one, I get rid of the enigma, conundrum, whatever, how they feel who it is, Kyrie Irving. He's gone now. Franchise starts over. We're free of that. We're free of bad press. Done. Kevin Durant is going to be a malcontent. What are y'all doing? That's my guy. It's a reason for me to go. Before you even get there, I find a fine suitor for Kevin Durant. You get your 7 first-round draft picks, 8 first-round, whatever you can get. Because Kevin was looking to haul about 5 or 6 first-round draft picks and players when he was on the market. So you look for a big haul, and you start fresh. They're not going to win a championship with them there. And the headaches that's being brought up now is just going to get even worse and worse. And then you're going to say, you know what? I love this Tasmanian Devil whirlpool I'm doing right now. Bring in Ime Udoka.
Wow.
That should just help more with the press. Bring him in.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, their PR rep is who is it?
Yeah. Because I don't know who thought that would be a good idea. And we talked about this last show. I think, yes, Ime Udoka, unless something else comes out that's a little bit more heinous, he should be able to get another job.
Oh, no. But to answer your question, Mo, Sean Marks thought it was a good idea.
It's
like, nah, really.
I think he still thinks it's a good idea. I think he still thinks it's a good idea, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the announcement.
Yeah, I think he still thinks it's a good idea.
Yeah, they shouldn't be the organization to hire Ime Udoka. I'm sorry, they shouldn't be. No, not after all this. No, really? This is what we're doing?
It's such a hard decision, though. I mean, if we don't own the team, and Kyrie, good or bad, it's going to put fannies in the seats. Kevin's going to put fannies in the seats just of his talent. Mm-hmm. And they're going to give me Ime Udoka to coach this team. I have faith as a fan base. So I'm going to show up. Mm-hmm. But as the adult in the room, you look down the line and you say, I don't think this team has enough to win, whether they're healthy or not. I don't think they have the horses to win anyway. So that's the reason why I would come out from all of this. Salary-wise, stress-wise, new coach, new fresh blood. Brooklyn was starting over.
You know what it feels like? It feels like I have a child, right? And that child is in school and just got in trouble for smacking another kid and spitting in the teacher's face. Then I bring that child home and leave him alone with scissors and a machete and ask him to take care of my baby. Like, really? Yeah. And that's what we're doing? Come on, y'all.
No, I said this in earlier shows. If you're not a serious contender for a championship, tank. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Brook. Now that I think about it, trade everybody, blow it up. Mm-hmm. You have a pretty good player out there that's going to be the #1 pick this year. This is if I'm Brooklyn, I blow it up. I completely blow it up. I don't even want to win no more games. I'll trade Durant. You get all the draft picks you can. Kyrie, you try to trade him. If not, he's off the books next year anyway.
Yeah, try now. His
Right.
stock is the highest it's going to be now.
So to me, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm tanking. I'm a rebuild, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, like you said, Hill, that's what sparked, it made me remember. They're not going to win a championship this year. No. So what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
We want to talk about P's favorite player. What do you do with Ben Simmons?
You cut him too. No, you cut. Listen, those two players you trade because they have value. Ben Simmons, you cut and you eat the unless you find some dumb suitor that will take him for a second round pick or anything. If you can get from underneath the salary, I'll take anything to match it. Anything. Expiring contracts, I get rid of him immediately. That's just an albatross of a contract. But if every GM is smart and says I want nothing to do with him, a la Westbrook, I'd pay him till 2076 and cut him. The other two that
Benny Big Bucks.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bobby Bonilla.
Every single penny he would get, but he'd have a heck of an annuity. It'd be the next 70 years. I wouldn't want to see that guy on my team. I can't see that guy laughing in the bench. I don't own the team, and I don't want to see him. You know what I'm saying? So I would get rid of him, and I would press the button right now in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I know me and P were talking about this off the air the other day. And here, let me ask you this. Do you think it's time for Ben Simmons, maybe even a Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, to consider retirement? One of the things I say is if I went to work every year and every year my workplace caused me to be injured for half of the year, I'm going to consider a new job. Because that workplace is not for me. It's not built for me. And I can't live a peaceful life without being injured every year. Then I'm going to switch job professions or something, At this point, like, especially with Ben Simmons, with his mental health issues, physical health issues, and even Kawhi, I put him in the same situation where every year it's guaranteed that you're going to be hurt from playing basketball. Should they be considering retirement? Or is it like what P was telling me, like, hey, listen, they got the good hustle. They're getting paid millions of dollars and they don't have to come to work for half of the year.
Yeah, Mo, yeah. Once you put pen to paper, and these owners are making billions upon this. No, once they sign it, you pay them. It's done. I'm just on the lines of, I'm going to pay you, but good riddance. Be away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because retirement, I don't. Do you forfeit the contract or a portion of it if you retire?
Yeah, I'm not sure the particulars on that one.
And I don't know if you get paid out for that. But if you do, yeah, sure, I'd say retire. But I can't imagine someone saying like they sign a 4-year deal and they just say they retire tomorrow and they get all that money. I think it has to be some type of penalty, I think, for having a retirement. But no, you sign a contract. I think they should be honored, and you either play it out or you pay it out. So I wouldn't expect nice guys.
Because at this point, I think like Kawhi Leonard, you hustling the system at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ain't playing basketball no more.
Sure.
Since you got that chip in Toronto, you're not playing basketball anymore.
I think his strategy is to save himself up for the players, but a rude awakening is that he thinks he's going to be fresh for the players. They're still not going to win. The Clippers are not going to win.
Yeah. He's been surpassed by many players at this point.
Yeah.
At one point, he was probably a top. Yeah, at one point, he was probably a top 5 player. Now, I can't put him in the top 10. So I don't. He doesn't play basketball.
Yeah, I have him top 20.
Yeah, so yeah, and I agree with you, Hill. I think that's it. He's like, I'm gonna save myself, but all we got to do is get in, and I'll take it from there. Nah, you must
Yeah.
you must didn't see Luca. You must didn't see Ja. Like these
How
young
about,
boys is coming. Not to mention Golden State.
how about you tried that already and Luka smacked you?
Yeah.
It's not. It's just
And
not.
then it was Donovan. Like you tried that already. The first year, the bubble when the Lakers won their chip. Yeah, they were in that playoff series, and he was saved during the season during that, and then he ends up getting hurt in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, I think because of the Lakers and the Nets dysfunction and everything, you know, we overlooked the Clippers. This has been a failure. This Kawhi, Paul George, you know, it's been a dud to this point.
And it says a lot for continuity too. Like you just can't just shelve it. Like, you know what I mean? Like with Kyrie, the people felt like, oh, he had all that time to rest. No, the continuity of playing with a team for 82 games, 60 games, 70 games. You get that feel of offense, that feel of defense, where you're going to be at. They look lost when they played Boston. Paul George coming on, I just have this much. It's just the goal of these guys thinking that I can just snap in at any moment and we'll win. No, and I'm glad to see that the Clippers lose. I'm glad to see that AD comes back. They don't make the playoffs. I'm glad to see Brooklyn. Kyrie decides, you know, well, it's a decision made that he's able to play, and they get swept.
Yeah, and some of it is just how this feels, like you said, the continuity and like the camaraderie. You look at the Cleveland Cavs. Like they look like a team that enjoy playing with each other. The same with the Celtics, even the Milwaukee Bucks, undefeated. That's not the most talented team in the world. We know that. With Chris Middleton, that's not the most talented. But they're a cohesive unit that play together, play for each other, and that it's at the end of the day, it's a team sport. That helps. So for you just to sit out the whole season and just come in and out, you know,
disrespect to the game. Yeah.
And even your team is a side eye, and you're like, oh, you healthy now? Like, you healthy now? Okay. So yeah, that's that.
Fellas, wow, it's been Brooklyn has taken up a lot of energy lately.
I think it's going to get a lot more worse before it gets better, though. You know what I mean? Wow. Like you touched on it earlier before, Mo, when going into this, and it was we argued on the other side of this, saying that you give them everything. Like if Kyrie and KD comes and they say this is what we want, you're getting Kyrie and KD, and we argue vehemently. You give them the keys to the ship. Well, we were wrong. We were wrong. You do not let the inmates run the asylum, for lack of a better term. It's not literal, but you do not let it happen. If a GM do it, you let the players be the players. You let them have some input on what would be nice and helpful, and you run your organization. I thought if these guys come to you with a package deal, this is what we want. And I said, you give them everything. And you said, no, you can't let Kyrie make this. I said, what? This is Kyrie and KD. You definitely do that when they come to you. Are you crazy? No, you're not crazy. I was crazy. So not only did KD follow Kyrie, so did I. And
if you look at the history of the NBA, some of the most successful franchises are those franchises that are uncompromising when it comes to their philosophy as an organization, or who they want to be as a franchise. Just to give you some examples, Miami Heat with Pat Riley, San Antonio Spurs with Greg Popovich, even the Chicago Bulls with Jerry Reinsdorf when Mike was there. Hey, he was uncompromising. He knew what he wanted, knew how he was going to go about it to get it. You know, I think to a certain extent, that's what you need in your organization. Golden State is a modern day example of that, where, hey, they're uncompromising who they want to be as an organization, who they want to be as a team. And the players that they get to come in, whether it be a Kevin Durant or Andrew Wiggins, those players are fitting into their mold of what they want to be as an organization and as a team. They're not acquiescing to those players. They're not conceding to those players. It's, hey, Kevin Durant, you want to join us? Hey, this is how we do it. You're going to do it the Golden State way. And Golden State way is you don't get to choose your coach. You don't get to choose who the GM is going to be. This is who we decided the coach is, and this is who will be coaching you. Let's make it happen. And I think history proves it.
Yeah, because all through history, if we surround you with shooters, you've been the most dominant player since Michael Jordan. So we're going to give you Buddy Hield and surround you with other shooters just as well. I want Brody because I'm the best GM that I want Brody. I'm going to prove to everyone that I can turn Brody into Isaiah Thomas or Steph Curry. The greats are terrible at this. They're not bad. They're terrible at this. Kobe.
Exhibit A, Michael Jordan, Washington Wizard, Kwame Brown. That's Exhibit A for me. One of the greatest players of all time. When he became an executive, one of his first pick in the draft, Kwame Brown.
Jordan said, "Why the heck what is he doing looking at Arkansas Little Rock? I want out." He gave Jordan 6 chips.
Yeah.
That guy at Arkansas Little Rock, that he was wondering what would they do. Like, people do this for a living. While you're playing, like, they're out scouting. So I get it. I really do. But again, you were right. I was wrong. I just looked at talent, and you can't do it. Please just play. I'll follow you as players. But for guidance in GM, medical history, medical information, I'm going to try to research myself or follow some experts in that, that field. Because it seems like even in your profession, guys can't, they can't, correctly assess talent. I don't.
Right.
Well, it's a funny situation, I mean, wrap it all up in a bow. Brooklyn is a mess. A mess. Great game from KD last night, but Brooklyn's a mess.
Fellas, what's on the radar?
For me, believe it or not, I just breaking news. Apparently, there's like a game 6 in the World Series tonight.
Houston should end that tonight, I believe.
Astros up 3-2.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, that's on my radar. Game 6, Jackson, Jordan, Tyson.
You got that Philly kid down below. I'm saying he should be in there too. That Philly kid.
Yeah, kudos to Dusty Baker, but I can't stand it that the Astros.
Yeah, the cheetah's gonna come across with another one, bro.
Yeah. I'm going for
Dusty. About to come across another one, man. It's just disgusting. Yeah. Phil, you got to stand up for me right now. I need y'all to come through our game.
It would be nice. Just get into a game 7. That's all.
Game 7 would be dope.
That's what I need. I need that. I'm sorry, Dusty. I know this will be your first one as a manager, but I don't want to see you get it this time. I'm sorry. You got to coach another team for you to get it. I'm sorry. What's on your radar, man?
I just want to know, did Brett pay all the money back? Brett Favre, all this Kyrie stuff is going on. Been going on, and I just want to know, has he, is his story over? Like, did he finish, taking care of paying up all the money from the stolen welfare funds? That was because it was that wasn't like retweeted, like he actually, like he literally stole welfare funds.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Like,
I just wanted to know, like,
Not
if
open
it's
for
that.
interpretation, right?
You know, that's one. Yeah, like, you know, it wasn't a retweet. Like, he didn't retweet. How about stealing some welfare funds? Like, he literally stole welfare funds. So I just want to know if they that's over, because the media hasn't, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be another challenge for the national media. Get your game up. Hey, what's up with Brett Favre? Did he pay back the money?
Because I'm offended by that. Like, I mean, I'm not on welfare, but I'm offended by that.
Yeah.
That offends me.
Yeah, it disturbs me greatly. What's on my radar? Y'all know what it is, man. Black Wakanda forever.
Is that Friday?
Friday. I'm there, fellas. I'm there. Like, hey, I'm gonna ask y'all want to come to the party? Yo,
You
what's
pulling
up?
up in a movie theater, one of them Chase lounges, and watch the.
Hey,
I might need one, because that probably might aid me in that situation. I tend to sleep in movie theaters, and I'm sure that would. I mean, I slept on one, so I don't see why I shouldn't be able to sleep on two.
Why do I even talk to you about this stuff, yo? Oh man, we gotta get your better half on the line.
Oh yeah, she's
to talk about
absolutely there for that. That's one of my favorite. Again, I'm on the lines of, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
We need your better half on
Yeah.
the line.
Yes.
We can't deal with you on this one, because she could appreciate the kind of family.
Definitely. Shout out to her. Definitely.
Yes, Miss Ben Rubin. Let's get it. Hey, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys think. A lot of stuff going on with the Brooklyn Nets. What are your opinions on it? What should they be doing next? Should they blow it all up, trade both Kyrie and KD, and start all over like they did with Paul Pierce and Kevin Durant when they were there? Hit us up on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the notification button, let you know when the next video is coming out. Also, you can email us directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. Hit us up.
Always a pleasure, guys. And like anything else, November 8th, everyone, no matter how you feel, get out there and vote. You know what I mean? Just let your voice be heard. Wherever you stand on the pendulum, just get out there and vote.
Yeah, I second that emotion. Hey, November 8th, get out there and vote your local races. Also, hey, let's start being more of the leaders instead of the followers. Hey, let's start setting a new standard, and establish a higher standard for the people that we choose to follow.
Because it's the local races, believe it or not, that means more than on a national level. The local is what affects us more, you know, in your local municipalities. So yeah, like we said, it's very important that you hold these, you know, politicians to a higher, you know, standard by doing it. And that's how you do it. Your voice. You don't like it, get them out.
Yep. Fellas, it's been
Another
real.
successful one, guys. Another one.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
Peace.